You don't have any. So for a little bit. You know, they don't.
Well,
Right.
why don't we look at that started? I know that Nicole Silver here has maybe sitting issues for one thing. And Nicole, maybe you want to tell us your track, where how you came with this. Well,
So I've been and the last few years I was what John yeah, probably in the original yeah. So yes, I've been I was in the other one for 3 years, and before that I was at Bagley, and Loyal Heights. And then I taught at John Stanford International for about 17 years.
So you were at Bagley like 3 years,
Last year, and the no, last 3 years John Hay, and then 3 years. Yeah. Yeah. So then I've always wanted to work at the school, so I've been, and I knew the former principal, so I knew that she was going to be stepping down. So
did you move through the ranks when you were a teacher?
I was a teacher for 20 years. Yeah. Yeah. So that was, I think it's really important for principal to have been a teacher, and I was an elementary school teacher, and I taught 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and then English, was learning English for a few years. So that's what I taught. Got 2 daughters. They are older. One is 18, but we're sharing a car, that's why I gotta go interact. And then one is 23. So senior in high school, and she's got they're in the state for soccer, so big week of playing soccer.
So where she goes going?
Roosevelt.
My parents weren't there.
Yeah, oh yeah, I was there too.
So did I.
Did you? Yeah,
How many principals were never teachers, would you say, percentage wise?
I think they have to have been a teacher, but sometimes they could be a teacher for a very little amount of time, or they might be a teacher at a different level, like maybe they taught in high school and then be elementary principal, pretty different, or vice versa. So I think it's important to taught in that content area, especially if you're going to be teaching teachers what to do. They have to know what you're doing. Right? That's wonderful.
Ms. Hilbert, 3 of us here went to the, I guess you'd call it the original Northgate,
Northgate, yeah.
which opened in 1956. So this gentleman here,
Yeah.
portables when I first went there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I did. Oh, you went there?
You know, Sean and myself,
Yeah.
we all opened up the 1956 school, the very school that you were
Yeah.
working in last spring, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, anyway, and one of the things I think people kind of want to know is, where are we on the that extended playground, if you want to call it that?
Yeah, well, it's taking longer, but I think that's not a surprise. I think these things always take longer, and part of it that whole supply chain situation. But so the field, which is what a lot of the construction is right now, is actually the reason it's taking so long, because it's gonna be a turf field, is because it's the drainage pond for the entire block. So the school is a city block, and they have to build these really deep drainage systems to be able to make sure that there's never not gonna be any flooding. So that's what's been taking a long time in the field. But they are working on that, and that's supposed to be done in December. Well, we'll see.
Is it a regulation soccer field?
I don't think yeah, that's a good question. I was wondering that too. It seems like it would be too small, but I'm not sure.
Because it was kind of casual.
Yeah.
They kind of went sideways with it, but that,
Yeah.
what is a regulation, 125 feet by 75?
It could be.
Big,
Yeah.
that's a regulation.
It's very big. I mean, it's like the whole block.
It's a whole.
So it could be. Yeah, you're right.
Is that to the south of the school building? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay, so that's what's gonna be there.
but it's
Yeah.
on that wall, I mean, it's really nice. Well,
Yeah. Yeah.
And is there going to be a public bathroom there or not?
I don't think there's, I don't I doubt there's gonna be,
And is it going to be a field just for your school or is it for?
no, it'll be open for the community.
Okay,
Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't think there'll be any, it would have to be a public park
to be a
to
bath.
have a bath.
Which we don't
I mean, I wish we should have bath.
Of course.
Problem, yeah, yeah.
Seattle Parks has nothing.
Yeah.
No, not through, it's all through capital, through the levy. Yeah, so, yeah, so, but it
Will
will,
it, like the soccer leagues, the local soccer leagues, be able to use it as a practice facility?
if it's a regular sized field, like but there's very few, I can only think of like McGillbra in Seattle that actually have a soccer field.
Was it Ingram?
No, it's elementary, most, yeah, all the high schools do, but the elementary
Not so much.
don't, so I don't know, but there are definitely places can rent the school, they rent, spaces.
And your other playing court closer to the school, is that concrete? It's concrete, okay?
That's concrete, they're still working on they have to do all the painting of the playground. And they're supposed to just start that and it's the rain, so they have to.
And will your kids get to use the soccer field once it's done?
Get reset.
Good.
Good. And there's only 2 climbers, they're still getting started with those.
Okay, climbing structures.
Currently, they don't have any outdoor activity at all.
Right now, all we have is a very small black top. It's very limited.
It's
Yeah,
gotta be.
it's hard.
And
That's
what's
the
the
hard
covered
part.
thing? Is that a basketball?
That is gonna have basketball, hoops under there and then just like a covered, yeah, like they'll have some painting on on the asphalt, but, yeah, they have the city of Seattle has this thing about, they're called traffic gardens now, and they're required to put in new playgrounds bike paths. Like, so there's like these things that kids could ride bikes on. And so that's a new requirement, which we kind of had to push back a little bit, because the kids only want Foursquare and hopscotch, and that we don't ride bikes that much on the playground, so they're much more likely to use the other things. But
Is that meant to be for the public?
I think it's part of the public, like the city, very focused on biking.
Yeah.
And that on 100 or on First Avenue Northeast, they're gonna be making that path all the way, I think like 145th, it's gonna be a biking path. All the way down from our school all the way to 145th.
On which side?
East or west? That is going to be on the east side, I believe. And that's in the next 2 years. Okay, yeah.
The east side of Wood Street.
First.
I did not.
No, I didn't either.
Yeah, because they want you to go light rail all the way from like the light rail to the north light rail.
That'd be hard on first. First is really busy.
First is very wide, so they're gonna have to do something
And the bike path's gonna be protected, like,
with a curve.
yeah,
like
like,
when-
it's gonna be between the walking path and the bike path.
They're
They're
gonna
gonna
have
have
narrow
meandering
streets.
and things, it's pretty involved plan.
They're gonna have to take people's front yards there a little bit, because you got a 60-foot right away from the center of the street, 30 on each side. And the roads, most of those are about 15, so that technically is the city property, but most people landscape right down to what's gonna be.
What's the enrollment running like right now?
Well, it's low, so we have 210 in the elementary, and and we have about 30 preschoolers, I guess, 240, but the building can hold 660. So,
Because it's the same, I mean, the staffing
Yeah.
hasn't changed, so it's basically the old tiny school.
and
And
they
this big, and so empty roof classrooms
Lots of
and things like that. So what do you think the plan is then?
I think they'd probably put another school population in there.
Do you think it's Sacagawea?
I haven't heard anything about Sacagawea. No, I haven't, they're not telling us any Sacagawea would be too far, I feel like.
A different cluster.
Yeah. The
So what's
closest,
going on with the special education in Northgate? What's the percentage of
Involved.
it's about 15% of our population.
Is it a distinct classroom?
No, it's, we have what's called extended resource, it used to be called access, and then resource. So we don't have any, but that could change if another school goes in there and it's an add program.
Explain that resource a little
So
bit.
resource, there's, is kind of the least restrictive or the program that needs kids need the least support. Kids with maybe dyslexia, milder disabilities that don't need that much support, they just need some help and then extended resources for kids that need more support, more intensive support, but they're still in general education for most of their day. And then there's programs that they've called either focus or distinct, where kids are in another classroom for more of their day.
Now, the resource could be a smaller room with that teacher. Is that right?
Yeah, because they really only do small groups,
Yes.
and then they go back to the regular classroom.
Are there any actual, 100% self-contained classroom?
And there aren't that many of those in the school district anymore. It's big focus, and actually this year, I teach a meeting, school meeting today, is that the Washington State had one of the worst records for inclusion. That's what the teacher every country. But they moved it 3% within a year, for more inclusion, so they were celebrating. That's
And tell us the breakdown, how many Ks, how many ones, how many.
well, right now we have 3 Ks.
Okay.
And 2 first, and then 2 second, 2 third, a 4-5 split.
And did you have to read after the October 1 count? Did you have to read?
You know what? We were very lucky. We didn't. I actually reconfigured before that. One of our classes, we had a class of 33 in 5th grade. Oh, that's just too big, and it was now at the 3.
That's a split.
Yeah, so I made it a split, and that was before they told us to do it. Because I knew it was coming, and they just thought, the longer kids are with their teacher, the harder it is. And so I just wanted to get it done before kids had really bonded with their teacher. So we got it done in like second week of school.
And how did the teacher take to that, having to go from it?
It was hard, but I mean, yeah, I mean, actually, she didn't want to give up any of her students, but I said, well, you could get 5 more kids, you can't easily do that, there's no room. And so it's always hard. Once a teacher has their students, they don't ever want to give them up.
Unless they're.
Yeah, well, even that,
Few of those.
yeah. Yeah, so we were lucky that we got that done early, because it was really disruptive, right? A lot of people.
How far are the kids bus?
Not that far. I think most kids are within a couple of miles, 2, 3. Yeah, I mean, otherwise it's
So it's a neighborhood school.
it really is neighborhood. It's just that some areas aren't as safe for walking. Like if you're on the other side of the freeway is really supposed to be Olympic View. But we do have some kids that transfer into our school because they're actually closer to James Baldwin. They could walk to James Baldwin, but they're in the other clusters. Yeah.
Do you get Northgate apartment kids?
I don't know. Oh, right across the way, the apartment. Yeah, those are the kids that the families would try to get in, and they often do. Yeah,
Much closer.
yeah.
Do they still have that walkover from the?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do still?
but
Yeah.
over on the other side is actually Olympic View, but a lot of those families will try to get into our school. Yeah, once you're on the other side of the freeway, it's different.
Yeah, but even when I was a kid, those kids came like to Northgate.
Yeah, well, makes sense.
Yeah.
I think that if you needed to fill up the school instead of pulling in a whole nother school to take from the neighborhood on the other side.
They could redraw the boundaries.
Yeah.
That's another thing they could do for next year. Those are all school board decisions, so it's a big thing. People get really headless over boundary changes, because the thing is, I'm not sure Olympic View's population, I don't think it's huge either, so they never let you. Yeah, they never let you pull so many, because if it affects another school's enrollment too heavily. I mean, because we had some kids on the wait list and we weren't allowed to have them, because they would have impacted the other school enough that they would have lost a teacher. So,
More likely that they would close a small program that's not
yeah,
viable.
right. Or in a school that's so old that they didn't feel like they could put in the work.
To bring it up to code.
Yeah. That's the
So if I got that right, if you were going to have that school and that school was enrollment, right? But the parents, they're not far away, but the parent wanted to pick your school and you had room they were nixed, right?
Some, yeah, I mean, they can try, and then some people do get in. Depends when they're asking, like what time of year, but yeah, they will watch the enrollment of the other school.
That had to do with maintaining some kind of balance of enrollment, something like that.
Well, right, because if the other school loses too many, they'll lose a teacher. And so, yeah,
And the funding is tied to the numbers. Too,
yeah,
right?
right, yeah, so, yeah, so you don't want to tip it too much.
Can you tell us, flipping the topic a little bit, tell us about the new latest security that you have at your disposal, and maybe some of the high-tech classroom stuff.
Okay. Well, the security is great, so it's all key cards now to get in, and lots of different entrances, even within the building, you have to key card in. So to get in the office, you go into like the vestibule, and then you have a key card again to get in the main office. And then if you wanted to like lock down the school, it's just a button. Just one button locks the whole school, but we do keep the school locked all day.
Is the front door locked all day?
Except for arrival, it's like 15 minutes in the morning to keep it open for all the kids arriving, and then it's dismissal. And so other than that, it's locked all day. Yeah, and then everyone has a key card, the teachers to get kids in and out of the building. So that's really good.
Is there a camera so that somebody late?
Yeah, we have cameras, yeah, yeah. It is a lot to manage though, because secretary has like, she's not she's working in security, she has all these, it's ringing and there's cameras and, it's a lot to manage really. Of all the.
It's almost
But
like
she can push a button and let them in, or?
Yeah, there's a button, yeah.
But still, it takes her away from what she's doing.
Right.
Every time. It could be constant, yeah, so that's like a new job, and then, then we also have a new reader board, which we're just working on getting set up as this full dedicated computer.
Is that the one out?
And so that's another thing that we're going to do, and the whole intercom system is very high tech, like there's a code to intercom into each room, and to inside the building, outside the building, and different wings. There's a lot of stuff. Of course, today there was a power outage, so none of that worked. How did that go? Yeah, so then none of it works.
You get in the door, because it all stayed locked up in the kitchen.
It was locked up today. I know, I was wondering if it was unlocked at the time. I guess we would have to use a key to try to lock it.
Would be a good thing to know.
Yeah, I was curious about how that was gonna work.
You can always, I think you can always get out.
You can always get out.
Hardware.
You can always get out, right.
I was picturing your secretary wearing a light blue long sleeve shirt with a black tie. Like a security person.
Right, yeah, that's another added job.
I know her. She has on her screen multiple windows of seeing everything around the building. Is that true?
Yeah, well, all the places that have a key card or like, have a doorbell, they
Outside as well?
outside has doorbells, there's like 4 or 5 different places where people can connect to themselves. So
It's so much to have to learn.
there's a lot of systems. The bells are all electronic, everything's
I
electronic.
see a bus, I walk by every morning and I see a bus late. I don't know what time does school start, 8 o'clock?
It starts at 7:55, but there's also a Head Start preschool, which starts an hour later.
Oh, that's probably the bus.
Yeah, that's the smaller bus.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Do you have after school care there?
We have after school care, and then they have Parks and Rec, has a program there, it's really involved, and they have reading support, math support, and enrichment.
Is it a girls club or is it?
Yeah, so there's a lot of programming, so it's pretty busy up until 6 o'clock. So that building is used a lot.
And parents don't have key cards, I take it, no.
No,
So if you had an appointment to pick up your child, do you have to call ahead and say that I'm gonna
we
come
just ring
in
the bell. Yeah. And the
Her secretary.
Yeah.
And they're speaking to each other, right?
Yeah.
Some people will say, I'm speaking for
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, and then you just buzz them in. I mean, we know most of the parents, I think, so, yeah. So, not not too bad, but.
So what if it was someone that you didn't recognize and they seemed a little.
Was wearing.
Then we wouldn't, then we wouldn't open it up, yeah.
But is there, I mean, if they just started, you know, if they were on school grounds, other people to help with that kind of situation on school property, would you basically be calling 911?
Call security probably first, yeah.
Is security just for your school?
Yeah,
So
we have like
it's-
20 schools. I mean, if something was big was happening, we call 911.
Yeah.
But
So there's security units that are available to go to wherever there's an issue. I didn't, I was.
yeah, it's pretty limited. It's pretty limited. They have a lot of schools that they go to, and of course, the high schools are the ones that tend to need them more.
Boy, they got to Ingram right away.
Yeah,
That shooting was happening.
Well, that was,
What they-
I'm sure that was. not-
Yeah,
How long did it take them to do
just 5 minutes.
yeah.
I was at the dentist over there and all of a sudden you just heard all the cop cars coming from everywhere.
Yeah.
How about those classrooms, high-tech classrooms?
So all the classrooms have smart boards, so they're interactive with the computer. And which is like, you're just touching, you know, on the board, which is really nice. For kinds of pens that interact with them. Projectors and then fans that just come on, like as you walk in the room, the lighting is all, it's just everything is censored. And then the lighting adjusts to the daylight, so if it's really bright from the sun, then the lighting dims so that you're not wasting power. So that it's all geothermal, the whole building, so that's great, it's really good. Lots of natural light too, which is also really good.
With little kids that touch everything, I suppose it doesn't really matter much, but did they do anything with the ventilation after this post-COVID world?
Yeah, it's got really, really good ventilation. The new buildings are, they're so much better for that. So we got a really, really good system, really good HVAC system. So that's nice. Yeah. Great. And then there's lots of little areas around the building that have little projectors and screens. You can do small group work and connect your laptop.
Do the kids have laptops? Everybody,
They have laptops and then K2 has iPads.
okay.
I've been teaching science. I've been teaching science for third graders with the teacher there, and the smart board, I kind of walk and face so up in front. You touch the smart board and it changes the screen. I believe there is on one side of the smart board there may be some array or vertically like your phone, just like your phone icons or something. I think.
Yeah,
You touch these
Yeah.
different things.
Yeah.
To change things. I think it would take you at least a day to figure that one out too.
More than a lot of words.
That the Microsofts.
I don't, yeah, I think we do use mostly Microsoft, but yeah. Yeah, they're really nice. Yeah, I think
That's like a crew local on site. IT techs or.
not on site.
Really?
How do the kids do with the laptops?
They do well, yeah, kids have no problem with technology. Yeah, they're really fast with it.
And then they take them home, they get to take them
They
home.
can if they need to, and then like on the breaks, they'll take them home or, yeah, they can take them off they want, but we don't send them home every day, you know, because a lot of wear and tear.
And they're good.
Yeah. But some kids do, like to work on some online programs.
All new or hand me down, this stuff. that you
They're all,
got.
everything's new.
Everything's new.
There's nothing that, all the PE equipment is new, all the art equipment is really gonna be amazing.
Like we saw, we went to the tour.
Yeah.
and like the films and so cool.
Films and
Yeah,
everything,
it's just wonderful.
yeah, everything's new.
Yeah.
Lots of outdoor spaces.
Are they gonna use that space on the west, the northwest, or that whole, there's a nice space all along the side.
Go by the stairs, kind of that
Yeah.
little staging
It goes
area.
all the way back to Corliss.
Yeah,
Is that?
we haven't used it much, like, I think we still need to figure out what to do with those spaces, like how to use them effectively.
I guess I see when the weather's nice in the spring, maybe the kids sitting in the circle, you know, doing
Yeah.
outdoor lessons and that.
Oh, and the one with the little log
Yeah.
area? Oh, yeah, well, students use that.
Good.
Classes do go up there. That's a wonderful area. Yeah. And next week, if they're painting a playground, that would be an alternate outside area.
Right.
Yeah, so that's the stuff. The fencing almost done, that's pretty new.
I think they did a beautiful job.
That's really beautiful.
Do you know what it cost?
I think it was like 93 million.
Mm.
Sounds about right.
So why did they make it so big? If we only have not even half of it filled now. I know it's to projection for
Yeah,
future.
that's
but
just what
it
they
just
do
seems
now.
like it's so
All the new school.
And not cost effective to run a school of 90 kids.
Yeah.
Did you make a small school?
Yeah.
Did you happen to go and find the, we talked about that whole thing, sort of making larger schools. And kind of aggregating schools together, larger schools, that whole thing.
About 400 was about.
I just think that if
I think that's a good area.
Right. Seems like a lot. How many kids are at banquet?
And also.
When we
I think they were like,
Oh,
well, it was used to be 400, and then when I left, it was down to 50. So they were, all the schools lost enrollment.
Right.
John Hay was over 500, and they went down to two communities.
Well, because those parents.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can. And then a lot of people there were working at Amazon, and then when Amazon stopped having people in person over the pandemic. They got to yeah. Yeah, so definitely drop it in the moment. So I think we should get new kids. I would love it to see.
Yeah. Well, I've lived in the neighborhood for 35 years and my first 22 years. This is the first year, last year was the first year I saw neighborhood kids go to learning.
Yeah,
In anticipation for the new school.
yeah. That's nice. I'm
You know,
glad.
yeah, and some fairly well-to-do families,
Yeah,
techie families, and
yeah,
there's some of their kids there, which is one.
yeah, it's great. I
How's
mean,
your PTA effort coming along?
we have a really nice, it's small, but they're a really nice group. And they're doing a fundraiser right now, trying to get to our goal. They help do things for the teachers. It's a small group, but they do a lot for the school. That's good. But, yeah.
The stuff that you guys have worked with, or the silver.
Yeah, any other questions?
I've got, always have questions, like, my game is education, so.
I'm very curious about the soccer field, and it will be
Yeah,
regular, or,
okay, well, I'll have to ask. I was wondering that myself,
Yeah.
but it's very unusual to have a regulation soccer field in
I don't know,
elementary, but maybe.
and that, the drainage stuff was pretty fascinating.
It was.
These big yellow.
Yeah, did you see all that?
I walk by every single morning, so I, watch the progress. And
Because I was wondering, why is it taking so long with the field? I mean, I just didn't see that, but then when she explained that the drainage, how the drainage
Right,
runs the whole
right.
block.
Retention pond.
Yeah, retention block, that's what I was like, that makes a whole lot more sense.
Yeah. And it's very expensive.
Yeah. It's a very expensive project.
Yeah.
So if they get the drainage issues addressed.
It's done.
It's done, yeah. they're working on it,
Okay,
yeah.
so when will the field be done? Completely.
I think it's,
Well, you said December, but is that when the kids could actually get on the field, or does it have to settle, or?
no, I think that's, but we'll see, right? They told us that the climbers would be ready November 18th, and they're not. So I think it's just, those are the goals. And then they set down the blacktop, they tarred it the day before school. And then we had major drainage area issues under the covered area, it was flooding. And so they had to break it up last weekend to quickly do it. And put drainage under the asphalt. So
In the upper field, right by the back door, I mean, right.
on the actual like playground area.
Okay.
They had to break up the asphalt. Never, then redo it. So they got them.
Tell us a little bit about the beautiful rain gardens and a little bit about high tech involved in that.
I don't know about high tech, I don't know about that part. I know there's little rain gardens kind of, or little natural spaces all around the school to, like native plants, and things like that. So they engineered to help with drainage, we just air quality.
And
I don't know about high tech.
we don't really actually have a dry season during the school year, but aren't there sprinklers
Oh,
in these gardens?
And yeah, we do have sprinklers.
irrigation.
If you haven't seen that outside
It's
around the
really
building,
beautiful.
it is gorgeous.
Yeah.
It's really gorgeous.
I just hope you have enough support landscaping wise that they can mow the lawn, which is always a big thing.
I know, they have to get to all those schools, so, a lot.
Wait a minute, is there any lawn there at all?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, on the side.
It's turf, I thought you meant.
Yeah, the other side of the school, not not the playground side, is all, I think, it's all lawn.
It's high to see, and it came in really nicely, it's very lush.
Yeah, very,
But I think most schools would have the garden twice a year, and that's.
yeah.
Yeah.
So when are you gonna have another open house for people in the neighborhood?
I think we don't plan an open house right now, cause usually that's kind of, but in maybe when we have our kindergarten tours in January, that would be a good time.
It's really spectacular, yeah.
I miss
The opening, it's just amazing.
I wanna
So
go look.
beautiful.
Yeah,
Everything about it is wow, 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 wow.
it really is.
Yeah.
People are always amazed when they come in, this is an elementary school. It's quite beautiful.
Just beautiful.
Did you think you wanted to do one over the closest neighbors that were kind of a little, resistant?
Maybe, we'll see. I'm sure it's gonna be a,
One of them died.
yeah.
So she's not complaining anymore. I mean, it was, the people that were complaining were old, they had no kids in the schools, they had no grandkids in the schools, they had absolutely no standing whatsoever.
Yeah, except they just.
So they just complained about it because they want to change the name,
Oh, it was the name.
It was the name. I thought, they wanted to keep the school too because it was historic, well,
Yeah,
And the fact that it shifted from one side to the other, I think was something, but I mean, I agree that it's like,
it's
it's
amazing.
such an improve, I mean, it's a beautiful addition to the neighborhood.
Yeah.
It's like driving by every morning makes me happy.
Yeah.
and
I
then
mean,
you have all that
kids
park, that field in, I mean, that's gonna be really nice.
it's just, fabulous.
So I want to ask you, what would you say are the top three things right now for you that you're kind of really concerned about, like centering your rate on that? What would you say?
Well, enrollment, I mean, definitely is the biggest concern, that we want to definitely have more enrollment. And then I think also thinking about teacher retention, it's a very hard job, and so, I think the school does pretty well with that, but we'll have to see, the teacher retention. I think maybe special education is really challenging, I think we could have enough resources. For the school. So, I mean, in general, the school is pretty mixed, but there are kids living in poverty, and making sure they have enough resources is always a concern.
What's your current free reduced? What's your current free?
Last year was the 3-year average was 53%, they said.
53% free and reduced.
Mhm.
And folks, if you don't know, please explain that a little bit.
So when you get to over 50%, well, really it's over 40, because there's what's called Title I, and then you get federal funding for having a higher poverty rate. But it has changed, because school used to be 80%.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
So it has changed. The demographic has changed, and that's hard if you don't really, we don't really want to get below 50%, because then you'll still have a lot of kids living in poverty and not the resources to go with it. So there's, because John Hay, when I left, it was 25% poverty rate, and you don't get anything for that.
Right.
So then you just have kids living in pretty hard situation without all the help.
Yeah.
So that's what's hard, is you want to have, it's really good to have a mixed population.
What caused that to change?
Mary's place, partially.
Yeah, Mary's Place now actually feeds into John Hay. And then the demographics, because it's so expensive to live in Seattle, people move.
And basically, from my real estate perspective, every house that's sold, there's so many old coming out of a family moved in for the most part. Lots of younger families have come in, so it changes but the average house is 850.
Yeah, I can't, so people move out of Seattle, right?
Yeah.
Can't live in Seattle.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll try to answer a question on behalf of my wife, who was a speech pathologist for about 30 years for elementary kids, both in this country and various schools overseas. Well, what kind of special education programs are there, including, speech and so on?
We do have a speech pathologist in the school. She's there 2 days, or he's there 2 or 3 days a week. He's great. He also does like a bike program with the kids where he picks them up in the morning and they bike to school. Yeah, he's really great. And then we do have that resource program, which is kids with various milder disabilities, and then we have a more moderate program with like general disabilities, and then we have we don't have that many need for physical therapists. She comes maybe an hour a week for certain kids that need that. And then occupational therapist.
Do you have a school nurse?
No, it is.
I'm just wondering, the old principal, or at one point I listened to her and she had programs set up to give individual help to those that were at the high end or the low end. I mean, do you do that?
Yeah, we do have a lot of small group work. And then we have tutors, 5 tutors that are coming in. And so they often work with, sometimes with more advanced students actually, and the teachers work with kids struggling. So yeah, we do that a lot, that small grouping, which really helps.
What percentage of your kids are on IEPs?
About 50%.
5 or 1 5?
1 5. 1 5. Yeah.
From what? IEPs, individual education plans,
Special education. 15, maybe. Yeah.
like my grandson's dyslexic, so he has an IEP, but it doesn't do much good in middle school.
Yeah, you don't get as much help.
Yeah.
I can take that one more question. I
Yeah,
promised my
that's
daughter,
true.
I'll pick her up from soccer, because I didn't want her at the park.
What about kids that are gifted? Or
That's
what,
what she said, they have tutors that pull out.
so those are the,
They often work with the kids that really need the higher, because it's really best to have the teacher work with, because it is the most help, and, because they're the highest skill.
but as far as if you were to put a number on that, is it like 5%?
I think it's more like 6 or 7, but I'm not sure. Well, I'll have to look at the numbers, but for that, it's growing there. I think in the past, a lot of parents have gone to Cascadia, and
It's getting close out, so we're phasing that
they're
program.
phasing out it'll be just a regular elementary school at some point. That, like right now, kindergarten and 1st grade is no longer going to a separate school. If they're considered, like, over 95th percentile, they're now staying in neighborhood school.
I know they do have that school that's down the hill.
Evergreen,
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah, that's private.
Yeah, about
That's-
40,000.
yeah, I was gonna say, but that's pretty good
Yeah,
money.
yeah.
Oh, it's big.
Yeah, so that's private. So we're supposed to meet the needs of all the kids in the school. That's the goal. The kids that are special education, the kids that have, are very accelerated, and it's challenging. Yeah, it's very challenging, and for teachers to do that. We're really lucky with James Baldwin. We have levy funding, and so that's how we're funding the tutors. That's how we fund the reading specialists, family support workers, because we have that levy funding in this year and in 2 more years. And then the levy will be done with that. We have to reapply, see if we can get it. But we'd have to be high enough to need. And this is the second time we've had the levy, so I don't know if we can get it again.
Balancing act.
Yeah, well, the thing is, once you approve, then you lose the things that helped you approve. So it's a little bit hard, like everybody needs the things, and then everyone can, because it ebbs and flows, right? So I hope that we can maintain that support, because it's pretty phenomenal support, which is great.
Say, Ms. Silver, our club does not hand over money to programs. We don't do that, but we do support, like your fundraiser you've got right now, on an individual basis, right? We do that, but not under the club's name.
Yeah.
Now, what I want to ask you is, how can we help you?
Well, the fundraiser is one good area. If you got the link, the CTA.
I do, yeah.
You look for volunteers to help like with reading and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and then, we do, and then volunteers to help in the lunchroom sometimes with kindergarten and 1st grade lunch. when they have to sort all their compost, recycling and all that is really hard for little kids. Just coming by and doing that is like super helpful. Oh yeah, there's chocolate milk everywhere.
You have to get the Washington State Patrol is okay. to be
You
in
have
the
to
building,
do a volunteer screening.
call it volunteer
Yes.
screening,
Fingerprint.
not too difficult, true?
No, it's not.
I'll be sure to know.
So that's just one way, yeah, volunteering and then, yeah, participating in any fundraisers, that type of thing. It's great. Wonderful. Yeah. Well, thank
Well,
you.
thank you so much.
Thank
for your-
you. All right, yeah, very nice to meet you and hopefully you'll get to come visit, especially when we have that playground, that's going to be amazing. Very nice to meet all of you. Thank you for coming. Yeah. 3 years ago. Oh, I don't really. I don't know. One other day. Did you guys do that?
Oh,
No. Right now. Vitamin, that's what I want.